I finished off your parents. And I enjoyed every single minute of it. They begged me for mercy, so I gave it to them. I ended their worthless existence quickly.
Sup, you guys? ASD Classified here, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Master Org. Now, the Master Org was the main villain of Power Rangers Wild Force, the 10th season of Power Rangers. Now, the King of the Orgs is a very unique Power Ranger villain in the fact that he actually has a backstory. But not only that, we know the how and the why he became an evil bastard. Now, most of these Power Ranger villains are evil because they're evil, bitch, get over it. And that's fine. That is fine. I do not mind villains like that at all. But it's also nice when you have a villain that has a little more depth to him. And Master Org has a lot of depth to him. And he's especially unique because he started as a human being. He was born a man, a regular man, who willingly chose to corrupt himself and become an evil demon monster. He willingly chose that. And the reason he chose that is because he's an incel. For those who don't know, incel is a term that's short for involuntarily celibate. It is people who have no luck having an intimate relationship with other people. Usually this term is attributed to men these days. And these men who are incels, they use that as an excuse to then be sexist and violent towards women and other people. So, yeah. And once you know Master Org's backstory, you know that the term incel applies to him. But before I jump into this crazy backstory for a Power Rangers villain, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and also like the video if you end up liking it. Alright, blah blah blah. So as I said earlier, Master Org was originally a human being. His mama named him Victor Adler, and he was also a doctor. I'm assuming PhD doctor, not medical doctor. Wild Force takes place in the year 2002, and over 20 years prior to that date, Dr. Victor Adler was doing research about the Animarium in the Kingdom of Animaria. So in Wild Force, Animaria, the Kingdom of Animaria, is considered to be a fairy tale. However, Dr. Adler was doing research to prove that the place actually existed. Dr. Adler also had two research partners, and their names were Richard and Elizabeth. So while working with Elizabeth, Dr. Adler actually fell in love with her. He really liked her, and he felt that Elizabeth felt the same way about him that he felt about her. And so what did Dr. Adler do? Did he ask her out on a date? No, he bought an engagement ring. Because Wild Force is a Disney season. This man decided to skip the entire dating stage and the boyfriend-girlfriend stage and go straight to marriage. But before he could make a fool of himself and propose to Elizabeth, Elizabeth had a special announcement for Dr. Adler. Elizabeth told Dr. Adler that Richard, the other partner in her research group, had proposed to her and they're getting married. Dr. Adler was distraught at this news, but he kept it to himself. But on the inside, he was fuming and he blamed Richard for stealing the love of his life from him. And he felt that Richard did it on purpose to hurt him because he wanted to see him miserable. So Dr. Adler suffered in silence and he watched as Richard and Elizabeth got married. He watched as Elizabeth became pregnant. He watched them do public displays of affection. Gross. And I mean gross on Richard and Elizabeth's part. Like, y'all doing all this in public? Gross. But yeah, Dr. Adler was heated. And he became even more heated, you know, because their research was pretty popular. Popular enough for them to have a press conference where people were like, oh my gosh, y'all really discovered Animaria, you know? And the reporters didn't even want to speak to Victor. They wanted to speak with Richard. And this just added fuel to the fire, man. Like, Dr. Adler was pissed, constantly pissed. And he's hanging around two people that are pissing him off constantly. So now, Richard and Elizabeth's baby has been born, and the family, along with Dr. Adler, decide to go to the Amazon, I believe, to search for more evidence of the Animaria, okay? So while they're on this little trip, Adler's anger is just getting worse and worse. And then they discover the remnants of the OG Master Org, the original Master Org that died in battle 3,000 years ago. They discover remnants of him, which is like these evil seeds or whatever. Victor Adler says he's going to destroy them, but he doesn't. He actually consumes them, and they turn him into the new Master Orc. With his newfound power, he kills his romantic rival, Richard, and he chases after Elizabeth and her child. Master Orc tries to kill the baby, but Elizabeth managed to hide him before she got caught. And then, with his last act of cruelty that day, the good doctor kills the woman that he claimed to love. Richard and Elizabeth's baby was now an orphan, and 20 years later, that baby grew up to be Cole Evans, the Wild Force Red Ranger. So yeah, that is Master Orc's villain backstory. So you see how that man is an incel now. He is crazy, insane. Do y'all not see that this man made up an entire love story about himself and Elizabeth? Like, watch that episode carefully. He made up an entire love story that never existed. Dr. Adler was working with Elizabeth and he fell in love with her. And he thought that Elizabeth felt the same way. He said that in the episode. He thought Elizabeth felt the exact same way. And then he blamed Richard because Elizabeth chose to get married with him instead. Elizabeth never was in love with Victor Adler. She was never in love with that man. Prior to Elizabeth being married to anybody, look at how she refers to the two men.
Dr. Adler, look! Richard proposed.
When she's talking to Richard, she calls him Richard. When she's talking to Victor Adler, what does she refer to him as? Dr. Adler. She never calls that man by his first name. Never. It's always Dr. Adler. Y'all were not close. Y'all were not close at all. I've had professors that I could call by their first name. You guys have been working together for years. Even after Elizabeth got married, even after she had a child, she still referred to Victor as Dr. Adler. Y'all were not close. She never felt no way about you, sir. I don't even think she knew that you liked her. Like, she never liked you, sir. You made all of this up in your mind. And I don't think Richard did anything to you either, because in the episode, he was also blaming Richard. Like, Richard couldn't stand for me to be happy. He stole love from me. He was taking all the credit in the research. Doesn't seem like that was actually the case. I don't think Richard knew anything about your feelings towards his wife. And I also don't think that Richard was trying to take any credit from you in the research part. Like, when we saw the press conference scene, you know, the press asked a question, Richard said, Victor, go on and answer. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but pretty much he was letting Victor answer the question. It was the press that was being messy and saying, no, we want to hear from Richard. So these people don't sound like they were bad people at all. All of this sounds like Dr. Adler was crazy. He was crazy. He was an incel. He was in love with this particular woman. This woman didn't give him no play, so he went crazy. That's what it was. Instead of saying like, okay, so this woman don't want me, let me find another woman, let me try again with other women, you just lost your mind at this one woman. You were crazy, sir. You were crazy. And I must say, I love this backstory. I really love this backstory, and I cannot believe that Power Rangers got away with some dark shit like this. Like, it's crazy. In 2002, they gave us a Power Ranger villain with this incel backstory and the fact that he actually killed Cole's parents and they stayed dead. No resurrection for them. No, oh no, they didn't die. They were actually Tosca and Ginger X. No. Dead. Dead permanently. And this villain would have definitely killed a child. He was going to kill a baby. That's how crazy he was. I love it. I love it. While Wild Force will never be a favorite season of mine, it has a lot of good moments, and Master Org and his backstory is definitely like at the top of that list, baby. Bravo. So if you're watching this video, let me know what you thought about Master Org and his backstory. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was muh? Let me know in the comments if you'd be so kind. All right, later guys. Jamata, happy Power Month.